the voting booth this election day, because we are greater together than we can ever be on our own. Visit africanamericans.barackobama.com for more information about all the ways you can get involved, from attending HBCU organizing workshops to becoming a congregation captain. And say you're ready to keep making history. Thanks, and see you out there.
Thanks. I mean, this guy reintroduced the funding that Republicans had gotten blocked, something good they did, to finance basically forced abortions in Africa. They tell you, we'll give you some money, but let us sterilize you. Let us abort that baby. And again, you can say, well, there are too many black people. I've actually had liberal black people say, well, there are too many black people. Okay, so it's okay to kill black people, but I'm bad because I'm white. But he can do whatever he wants because he's supposedly black. I mean, it's like that Hollywood actor. What's his name? He's in Pulp Fiction, and he's in the new Star Wars movies. I mean, he's a good actor. Samuel Jackson came out a few weeks ago and said, I voted for him because he's black, and I'll do it again. I don't care, he's black. So, I mean, can somebody kill you because they're black? I mean, could somebody rob you? He works for the same mega banks Mitt Romney does. We're going to go to our guest here in a moment with his Second Amendment rights being taken. See, it's about our basic rights, all of our rights being attacked by the globalists. Not about, well, it's all right if Barack Obama's selling me down the river because he's black, and that makes me feel good because I'm black. And this is the form over reality. This is the packaging over what's really inside. And I'm sick of it, and it's a form of bondage. I want to just remind listeners and viewers, we are listener-supported. And when you buy books, DVDs, films, things like that at Infowars.com, it finances our operation. You can, until this month ends, only a few days left, get all 18 of my films and Burmas's excellent New World Order Defined, Invisible Empire, New World Order Defined, free with that, and bumper stickers and citizen rule books for $99. That would normally be $380 for $99, over 70% off. That ends at the end of February. It will be gone. The Everything Special Plus is what it's called at Infowars.com. We have a 15-day free trial still running. Very popular to see the nightly news and download all the films. Prisonplanet.tv. We also are still running that yearly special, 44% off, but that ends at the end of the month, and it will be done. Prisonplanet.tv. And we also have bumper stickers and other things at cost to help spread the word at Infowars.com. And we have the very best super 90 minerals and all the vitamins, everything. It's just off the chart. Beyond Tangy Tangerine, available at Infowars.com, or link over to InfoWarsTeam.com. And it's kind of hidden. I'm going to get it more prominent. But when you sign up for auto ship on orders, $56 or more, you get free shipping, which is on average about a 20% discount at InfoWarsTeam.com. And so when you sign up, be sure to sign up for auto ship at InfoWarsTeam.com. And there's just a whole line of great products, the best out there, whey powder, everything. And your purchase supports this transmission, InfoWarsTeam.com. You can also sign up to be a seller or distributor at your business and get discounts there at InfoWarsTeam.com, the wholesale prices. Okay, let's shift gears. Appreciate him joining us. Only had him on for about 10, 15 minutes last week, or I guess still this week, Sunday. I wanted to get him back on. He is the host of the, well, not host, one of the people that's one of the folks that's involved on the extremely popular Nat Geo, National Geographic Channel Preppers, David Sarti. And we're about to go to break here in a few minutes, but just recap what happened to you, come back and tell the story, and then we'll look at the wider problems this is affecting veterans and others who are just having their Second Amendment taken. Good to have you, David.
How you doing, Alex? Appreciate you having me on. I don't know how much time we have before break, but I'm going to make a long story short. I'm going to try to shorten it up. I went to a cardiologist because he had not given me my test results for over a month. So I made an appointment, went to him. He said nothing wrong with my heart. I described the attack I was having as, I felt like I was suffocating, and said that was the closest I had ever felt like committing suicide. And he said, was I going to commit suicide? I told him plainly, no, I'm not going to commit suicide. I'm not suffocating. I mean, it was a suffocating thing. Couldn't breathe. And he started saying, well, there's all these things we can do. We can do trachs and stick tubes in you. I says, no, I don't want to live like that. He said, well, that sounds suicidal. I says, well, I'm not going to commit suicide. It's against my religion. Of course, he ignored that. And then I went on, and it got into, like, he'd asked me, how would you do it, I said, well, there's 1,001 ways I could do it if I wanted to. But, they ignored if you wanted to.
Sounds like he was watching the top TV show you're on, just looking for trouble. Because everybody, I hear that constantly. I'm not going to have surgery. I don't want to live like that. If that's the case, I'll just...
Right. So are we up to break? I hear music.
People get stuff. People say all the time, man, I'm so angry, I could jump off a cliff. And they're like, oh, that's it. You're going to jail. We'll be right back. Stay there. We'll be right back with David Sarti straight ahead. Prisonplanet.tv, simulcasting video right now. We don't need any New World Order brainwashing us, telling us it's bad to want liberty and freedom and private property in the Second Amendment. Because what's happening to David Sarti is happening to hundreds of thousands of veterans with no criminal record. They try to go buy a gun and are told they're mentally ill. It's happening to people that are told, oh, you were in a car wreck. Are you depressed? And they go to the doctor and say, I'm kind of depressed about broken ribs or whatever. And, oh, well, that's it. You're now depressed and suicidal. No Second Amendment ever again. No judge, no jury. There's not even a law. They just do it. And it's all about extrajudicially taking your Second Amendment away. We're going to have Sheriff Mack in studio later, so we'll bring that question up to him as well. But here's a report that dovetails with it. I'll cover later in our interview. Report, more than 100,000 Americans are domestic terror threats. Even the LA Times is saying that. The new threat is people like David Sarti, they say. Basically anybody that wants to be independent. Okay, David, get back to your story. So you're explaining, no, I don't mean that literally. It's a figure of speech. I'm saying it was like I'm dying. It was horrible. What did he say next?
Well, he said that I needed to go to the emergency room to speak to another doctor. And at that time, I told him, look, I can't afford going to emergency rooms. And besides, I live on a farm. I've got animals to take care of. I've got 4 little dogs that are in the house. I got to go let them out. He didn't care about none of that. So anyway, he told me to wait in the hallway, and I heard the nurse, calling the sheriff's office. So I said, well, I got to get out of here. So I left. And I went straight home, and no sooner than I got back to the house, I got on my four-wheeler, and I was fixing to go do feeding, and the sheriff's office shows up. And, anyway, they basically said I had to go. They said I had no choice in the matter. I had to go. And anyway, the one lieutenant deputy, he said that if I went, he would wait around and give me a ride back home after they evaluated me. So I said, okay, let's get this over with. So I went down there and sat in the emergency room for an hour goes by. They draw blood, they take blood pressures, all that stuff, make me sign an agreement saying that, look, I'm not going to commit suicide, had to write it out. And, the second hour goes by, and finally, I said, they're not letting me out of here. So I just quit cooperating. I said, no more blood pressures, no more nothing. You're lying to me. You're keeping me a prisoner here. I'm not going to cooperate. I want an attorney. That's when the female doctor at the hospital threw down her pen and she said, I've had enough of you. And, she had me committed to the mental institution, which is a McFarland Hospital in Lebanon, Tennessee. So I went, the sheriff had to come back, takes me to the mental thing for observation. They say it's for observation. Well, I get there, and basically I'm not cooperating. Every piece of paper, even for my stuff I had to take out of my pockets, I would put on there under duress. I'm signing everything. Every piece of paper with my name on it says, I'm being held against my will. And anyhow, I spent 2 days there before they even let me speak to an attorney. It was 24 hours before I even spoke to the psychiatrist, and it was another 24 hours before I even got to speak to the attorney. And he told me basically what I was doing. Just shut up and don't talk to him. When the judge came in the Friday, which was 2 days after that, the judge cut me loose, said there was no reason for me to be there. And
now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're a veteran with no criminal record.
Right.
Why do you think they were doing this to you? Was it jealousy because you're on a big TV show, or was this just standard operating procedure?
Well, I have a hunch it was because they found out I had insurance. And most of the people in there didn't get no money from. So it was that, and I don't really know, because this happened before the Doomsday Prepper aired. Now I do know that PETA had called the sheriff's office on me, or the ASPCA had called them on me for doing live shows like you do, except I was dehorning and tattooing goats and showing how farm life is. Well, they considered that one call they called on me was for goat choking, and then the following week they called the cops out here. Now, this was the Ohio ASPCA. They called Tennessee to my sheriff's office.
Yeah, so they're saying regular farm work that everybody does, that's just standard procedure. They're trying to imply that's illegal.
Yeah, well, they said it was abuse to animals. But I did get something in case any of the ASPCA people are watching right now. I've got something here from Tennessee. It's called a dead animal I'm going to wear on my head in honor of them.
Oh, you're talking about a coonskin cap.
Yeah, the last
you're evil, sir. No, sir. They're trying to outlaw eating meat.
The empire's on the run.
There's a war going on right now. The 6 big megabanks owned by a handful of families have built a private global corporate government. They're now announcing the expansion of that private Bank of the World consortium as created the global currency crisis, sold tens upon tens of trillions of dollars to even small nations in fraudulent garbage, and are now holding those countries hostage. Instead of all going to jail like Bernie Madoff or Ken Lay, they are now posing as our saviors with the corporate media that they own, telling us that they're the good guys. They are simultaneously financing the police, the military, and others' training that anyone that talks about a new world order is insane. Anybody that talks about international banker takeovers is insane. It doesn't exist. As they publicly announce it and set it up, they think the cops are dumb, and they say this doesn't exist. Okay, these people that talk about a new world order and how we're going to have troops on the streets and how we're going to be arresting people, they're crazy. That was the propaganda 5 years ago. Now it's all starting, and they're like, anyone who doesn't want the military to secretly arrest people and have torture and no Bill of Rights is the bad guys. Remember all the stuff we got demonized for. Go read an ADL or Southern Poverty Law Center report from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. It reads like today's newspaper. Everything that they were demonizing people for warning of has now come to pass. So now we're not bad for being against world government. We're bad because we don't accept the world government. And to be specific, before we were bad because New World Order didn't exist. Now we're bad because we don't like the world government. But then they still have the old propaganda of, ha, 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 it doesn't exist, but you're bad because you don't like it. As the UN 3 weeks ago announced world government, world taxes yet again as the solution to all of our problems. So that is just some of the information that